What time is it? Time to make another video for you. Remember, I've been using these, and these are wearing out. Look at that, where my knuckles are. And these are pretty thin, and they're actually wearing out all the way down. I probably should get some new ones. For right now, I'm gonna save these. I'm not gonna use these today. And you remember the other day, you were watching that particular video, I said I had some orange ones, and I found those. I went out to the garage. Voila. See, they look pretty much the same as the others, as the other one. This lets you breathe a little bit, which I kind of like. The rubber's just a little bit thicker than my black ones, but hey, I can use these, and that's what I'm going to use today. And I bought these either in a 5-pack or a 6-pack, and way cheaper than buying them individual. Okay, so look for that at the store. Whenever you can buy more than one pair, do it. I gotta crack up. I got my Fitbit on, and it's set for 10,000 steps every day. And 10,000 steps, I think that's, I haven't done the actual math, but I think that's about 5 miles of walking. And yesterday, at the end of the day, I hit my 10,000 steps just from doing all the little videos of day 3. Can you believe that? Up and down this ladder, up and down the ladder, up and down the ladder, walking around in the pit, up and down the ladder, showing you different things, back and forth. Here we go. 5 miles right in this one little area I walked or stepped. Can you believe that? Yeah, it takes a lot of effort and time to do something like this. If you're going to think you can do this on a weekend warrior project, hey, you got a lot of weekends involved with this, depending on how many people you have working with you. If you're going to do this after work, a couple hours after work each day, that's going to take you a long time. So keep that in mind before tackling a project such as this. On the other hand, think about this too. All of your labor, you don't have to go out and pay somebody for that. If you know all the tips and techniques and everything that you need to do on a project, you think, hey, I think I can do it. Joe's given me the confidence to let me think I can tackle something, whatever project it is, and you could save money. This particular project, okay, I've got experience doing different things, and I've been a contractor. I used to be a contractor for probably over 30 years, and or close anyways, and I've got enough knowledge and know-how on how I need to get this fixed. But am I a professional flooring guy? Am I a professional tile guy to cut tile or any of that kind of stuff? Am I a professional painter? Am I a professional electrician? Am I a professional plumber? Hey, no. Or maybe I am. Maybe I consider myself to be, but I've got enough know-how to think that, hey, if I put my mind to it, an average Joe just like me can do it too. If you just watch my videos, and I'm not guaranteeing you that you can do everything that I do, but lots of the stuff that I do, I'm showing and explaining it to you. So if you've got the fortitude and the desire, you can do such projects. Now, when I get into an area where I just don't want to tackle it, or I don't feel comfortable, like cutting carpet, rolling out carpet, installing carpet, I'm not going to tackle anything like that. I'm going to let the professional carpet installer do that. But I can tear the carpet out, I can take the tack strip out, do things getting ready for someone, save some money that way, or different things like this. Now, on this particular project, how much would the labor cost? I'm guessing maybe $7,000, $8,000, maybe. Because if you hire a contractor, he's gonna charge you for his labor, and his labor rates aren't going to be cheap, and his rate isn't going to be cheap for his hourly. Plus, he puts an overhead and profit on top of all that. So if the job is $6,000 and he puts for labor, let's say the labor is $7,000, then he's going to put, most general contractors put a 20% markup on that. So now 7,000 times 20% is another $1,400. There's $8,400. And if he gets any subcontractors involved, the subcontractor is going to charge us hourly. Plus, he wants a overhead and profit margin for his business, and so easily $8,000, maybe even more, just for labor. And then you've got the material costs and all that. This particular project, I'm hoping to be able to complete all of the labor on my own. I had my neighbor come over and he helped me a little bit remove some of these tiles. I could have done it myself. You saw the first part of that video. I was doing it by myself, and when he came over, he helped me with 8 tiles or so of these big ones, and it was a lot easier. And he said, hey, when you get ready to put the tiles in, if you want some help, just let me know and I'll come over and help you. So, you know, something like that. It's not going to cost me an hourly, but overall, I think I'm going to be able to save a lot of money. And I try to look at the good and the positive aspect of this entire project. And that is, what is that, by the way? Well, that is, I can get my video camera out here and I spend more time. Yes, this is taking me more labor, intensive labor to make all these videos for you and show them and set up the video cameras and all that kind of stuff. That cost me a few hours each day on just back and forth with the video camera, explaining to you and all that kind of stuff. But it's like my training classroom. This is my classroom teaching you how to do different things. And that's how I look at all my projects. Whenever I get ready to do something inside the house for somebody and I think, hey, I can make a video of that. Yeah, it takes me a little bit more time. I look at that as a classroom setting, and it takes me time and effort, yes, of course, to set up the video camera, show you what I'm doing, explaining to you what I'm doing. But on the offshoot of that, I can then upload it to YouTube. And once I upload it to YouTube, anybody who wants to watch it can watch it. And I've already done it. All my labor is done, editing, uploading, saving the videos, uploading the videos, writing text for titling it, doing tag words and keywords. But once I get it up on YouTube, I have a chance of making money on these videos, even though you're watching them for free. Okay, so that's another way on how I can pay for some of my labor costs. Okay, so I don't mind showing you these videos. You're keeping me company. I get to explain things along the way, and I still will get the job done, and hopefully you'll still be able to learn from Joe. Good grief, do you hear that? There's an empty lot over this way, and the guy's got a big excavator over there, and he's got a jackhammer end on it, and he's trying to break up the rocks. He was doing that yesterday, so I don't know if you might have heard it. Here he goes again. And you might have heard it, and you know, that may happen all day long, but that's not going to keep me from doing my work or bringing it to you. Hey, I've got my phone on Pandora and I'm listening to the Eagles, and you haven't heard that before, have you? Any music on my videos for this project? That's because I've been showing everything for you, and periodically today I'm going to be working large segments of it without you involved. And when that time happens, I'm going to leave my radio on. I'm just going to leave my radio on, and that helps get your day going and finishing, especially when you're doing something like this. You know, it just makes the day a little bit easier. I used to, before cell phones and all that, I used to have a radio. That was one of my most important tools when I was working alone or in different areas where I wasn't bothering any tenants or anything like that. We'd just turn the radio up and go to town. So think about that on your next project. Hopefully it doesn't get your mind, you know, turned sideways or anything when you're working. But shoot, this is going to help me today get this all cleaned up. I've got piles of stuff here. I got to cut this stuff up over here, take all that stuff out, cut all that. And so I'm going to spend a few hours, and that's kind of my relaxing time right now before I start having to think about how am I going to patch all this over here and getting the rest of this stuff demoed. What stuff needs to be demoed, what stuff doesn't need to be demoed, what is still safe, what needs to be taken out, and all that kind of stuff. I'll think about that later, but for right now I get to listen to my tunes. Nice, look at that, all nice and clean. And I swept this all up too. It was pretty dusty, and I want to keep this as clean as possible so I don't track it inside the house. And I used my trusty bag here, and this is my fourth bag so far. I put a piece of cardboard down here. See that? That was a cardboard box, and I just pulled it out. And I think I might just leave it here. That'll protect the tile edge in case I whack it accidentally or something. And I've swept all this stuff up. Yes, this was all dirty before. And you know, this bag is probably 15 pounds or so. I don't want to overload it, and I try to be careful with the nails in the wood. That's why I bend them all down. I try to keep them off of the edge of this, and then I just carry it. See, it's probably 15 pounds or so, and I ended up carrying that right through the house. I took my shoes off, put my shoes in there, and carried it out to the garage, put my shoes back on, and put it in the garbage container. And I've got just enough room for this right here, and the garbage guy's going to be here in a couple days. And my neighbor's going to let me use his garbage can for a few more things. See, this stuff here, I haven't cut it up yet, but I've cleaned all this. You remember all the stuff down there? And I ended up using my 5-gallon bucket. I took my bucket down there and I'd fill my bucket up, come back up on the ladder, kaboom, dump it in there. All the loose, small stuff that could fit in the 5-gallon bucket. I used a nice heavy plastic dustpan. I used my knee pad because I got down there and I had to sift through the dirt and stuff, and picked up all the stuff, and then all the loose dirt, I took all that and kind of filled up next to the concrete stem wall right there. I kind of leveled that off a little bit better. See, doesn't that look nicer? Now I can do some more down there, and I don't have to trip around and stuff, and I've got it all nice and clean. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean up again after I get this stuff cut out of here, but at least it'll be a lot easier to clean out at this point. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is, it's funny, I always have a plan of what I think I'm going to do and that day, and then sometimes it gets changed all on its own. Remember, I was going to take this 4x12 out, that top stair rise tread, and I don't know if I'm going to do that today or not. I'm going to get underneath here. See, it's kind of shady way down in there, and then the shade's going to gradually come back this way, and I'm going to get under there and start scraping the wood, take all that stuff out. And it's probably a good time to do it. I'm a little tired, and do things in increments, and you try to do things. And I did all my strenuous stuff this morning, and now I want to rest a little bit. I got everything cleaned up. I want to rest a little bit, and I can rest when I bring some cardboard. I'll put some cardboard down there. I'll also have my knee pad and some putty knives, and I'll start scraping underneath there, and then I can rest while I'm scraping. See, and I don't have to lose any time today. My back's a little sore from bending down, picking up all this stuff. It took me a while. I mean, it's already noon, And I think I started at 8:45, something like that. So 3 hours. A good 3 hours to do the cleanup of what I've done so far. Okay? And so now I'm on to the next step.